this retreat for me has been really different. I really have felt the joy from the spirit. I don't know if you say like a heart openness or something, but I feel I was telling the spirit like, oh, this is what David was sharing. He was always sharing the joy of the spirit, not the burden of the ego. Well, you explain, of course, like the burdens, but you're like, well, but that's nothing, like the spirit is just like, that's like an eyelash, like to God or something, And I was like, were they always talking about joy? And of course, there's fear. I can feel the fear. But I'm excited for feeling the spirit and just feeling that the darkness is like, I don't need to analyze or stay with the darkness like in a loop. And I want to see miracles. I want to trust, and I want to trust that it's gonna be happy, a happy, not scarcity trip.
In the Course in Miracles, there's an interesting line from Jesus where Jesus says, happy dreams come true, not because they're dreams, but because they're happy. He's giving us a clue that our key to happiness is in following our joy. Yes, you don't want to live a life of scarcity. Who does? I've not met anyone who wants to live a life of scarcity. And Francis is a good example of this, because when I met Francis down in Australia, and then we met again and again, and you were so curious, Francis. I remember the time you said, here, come over to visit me. Jason and I went to your house, and then you said, make yourself at home. So I just found a nice, comfortable chair, was just sitting in your house, and then you and Jason went grocery shopping. Actually, Grácil, she told me, I asked her, what do you enjoy doing? That was one of the things you said you like doing, shopping. You like shopping. Well, imagine that the spirit could, imagine here at the monastery, we have to do shopping now for 20 some people. But you see, it's different when the spirit's shopping through you than when you're personally shopping. And Francis went grocery shopping with Jason, and then she kind of cornered Jason when they were out at the grocery store and said, what's it going to take? Just give it to me straight. What's it going to take? And then Jason did. And it's interesting. It was trust. The very theme of this weekend is when you cornered Jason on the trip to the grocery store and said, what's it really now? Let's cut the chase here. Bottom line, what's it going to take? And he said, trust. And then he explained, and trust. He was there with you. Trust me. Trust David. And amazingly, you did, Francis. It launched you on all your whims. You wanted to travel the world, and you thought maybe when you were 65 or 70 and retired, that was your whim. You would travel the world when you retired. But Jesus took you and swooped your mind up and took you traveling, meeting people, seeing places all over the world, doing the things that you love to do. From the beginning, it was very quickly it came to you. It didn't come at the end of retirement. It actually came by letting go of the means that you thought you needed to reach your happy dream, and letting the spirit lead the way. So maybe you could share, because I think this is what Priscilla's praying for right now. She's saying, I'm in my late 20s. I want a happy life. I want to be in purpose and share. And the world is still presenting her with the old story, do this and this and this and this. And then eventually, if you work hard, endure, save, invest, then you can do what you want at the end of your life. And your life, Francis, has gone the exact opposite, where you got to do everything that you wanted to do, including shopping. you've been used for shopping. You've bought lots of things over the years, but it was more with the spirit's money. You know, it wasn't a personal. You weren't a personal shopping assistant. You were letting the Holy Spirit do the shopping through you. But maybe you can just share with Grácil how your life has gone, and in a very unconventional way. You know, not the way that you thought it had to go. It actually went. Happy dreams did come true because of the happiness in your heart, not because of anything the world had told you.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I like that what you're saying, Grácil, you felt the joy, and that was real. And I feel like for me, when I went to David's retreat for the first time, I tasted something there too. It was a very overwhelming heart opening and joy. And that was the only thing I knew that I wanted. So basically, I didn't know anything else, and how it's going to look. It's going to scare me if I want to figure out how it's going to look. But the only thing I knew was that is what I want. And I want all of it and every moment of my life. If I could live in that, that's all I wanted. And then, yeah, like Jason was there with me, I remember, and he asked, what does it take? First, he asked me, what does it take? I said, I need to let go. And it was very intuitive knowing I need to let go of my life there, my house, my business, and a marriage that wasn't working out. So it came out very quickly. I knew intuitively I have a lot of sorting out to do. And then by the time that David and Jason came to my house and they were about to leave, I said to Jason, yeah, what does it take? Is that really that simple? If I give all this up, I have no perspective of what is lying ahead. Is that really that simple? I can just trust you and David. Is that really that simple? And he said, yes. I said, okay, good enough for me. Good enough for me. I am going to do just that then. That's all that I know. No other promise except present trust. And it was tremendous because it eased my mind. It actually carried me throughout to say I could just rest here in this moment and rest next. And whatever unfolded was absolutely miraculous. It took a lot of clearing and facing of the fear and the guilt, of course, but I just realized I could just trust. And if I feel it's too steep for me, I say to the spirit, you carry me through this, and I'm gonna say yes, but you have to carry me. And that's how I faced a lot of the initial doubt and fear. But after that clearing, what happened is just you tap into this new realm of openness and joy. And then the spirit is saying, yeah, you love travel and I can use that. And everything you love to talk about the course, I can use that. And that is all for a forever expansion that is my will and your will. Let's go. So I think I followed the joy, and it turned out to be extremely practical, and it turned out to be miraculous in every way. And I remember exactly that, David. I just said to Jason, is that really all I can count on? I can count on what you say now. And he said, yes, and it served me. Yeah.
Happy dreams come true, not because they're dreams, but because they're happy. Like, it's amazing to think that if we just pray for happiness and joy, that our mind is so powerful that we must receive what we ask for. And that is a witness to that, Francis this is just a lifelong witness of saying, is it really that simple? And Jason confidently looking at her in the grocery store going, yeah. And she's, okay, I'm gonna go for it, You pray, you ask, you receive, and you go. And you get carried higher and higher and higher and higher. So thank you, Grácil. And thank you for writing back and sharing the things that you do enjoy, because now I know from your answer you gave me on Instagram that those are the things that the Spirit will use for your happy dream, for your awakening. Yeah.